Welcome to the Collector Cave, and today we have a review of Hot Toys Kang the Conqueror from Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania. And just to get this out of the way real quick, I neither condone or approve of what this actor was found guilty of in a court of law. But with that said, no actor, no person is above an intellectual property. In this case, a comic book character that's been beloved for years. And in my case, Kang is one of my favorite villains, and I've wanted a Kang Hot Toys figure for years. So for me, I'm able to differentiate between this being a figure, a toy, a high-scale toy, versus it being an actor. And I respect your opinions. If you want to leave a comment, that's fine. I just ask you to be respectful about it. So with that out of the way, this is a toy review channel, amongst other things. And I'm reviewing a figure that I have wanted for a long time in Kang. I would prefer a full-on comic version, but I feel like with this movie, they did a close enough job to make him look like the comic version. It's say what you want. Maybe some people didn't care for Kang. I thought he was fantastic, and I wanted to see a Phase 5, whatever, with Kang as the big bad. And then later, Galactus and Doom. But that's not what happened. Real life happens, and changes get made. And as you can see, Doom is about to take over. And I am okay with that. Doom is my favorite villain across the board. My hope maybe in the movie is that he comes out and just outright obliterates Kang. We get some sort of closure. But regardless, this is about this figure. Let's jump into it. So this thing was delayed a week. UPS lost it. Very disappointed. I contacted Sideshow. They said there was nothing they could do about it. I was a little upset. So the Conqueror of Time himself could not get here on time because of the powers of UPS and Sideshow. But he arrived today, and there's this ridiculous warning sticker on the front of this box, which irks me. I know that obviously I've never seen this before with any Hot Toys figure that has batteries, but obviously there's an issue. Something probably happened, but it's too bad they couldn't put this on the back or somewhere else. I think it can be removed because this packaging is fantastic. This is one of the coolest looking Hot Toys packages I've seen personally. And we'll get into it, but you have this big, I guess it's like an atom or some type of symbol there for Ant-Man. You can see a picture of Kang here, and here there's a picture of MODOK being blocked out. And this thing is three-dimensional. It kind of sticks up from the packaging, as you can see there. Super cool. And then you have this honeycomb, style look with the box. I do have some damage up here. The box was pretty beat up, so I'm really disappointed in UPS. Maybe it's time for Sideshow to go somewhere else with their delivery. But these are high-end collectibles, and to have a damaged box, dented box, is unfortunate in this case. And here's the back of it. Here's the Disney logo, proof that this is not a fake or a replica. This is the real deal. There's a UPC. And I haven't opened this thing up yet, but I've watched a couple reviews. But you pull this thing up and check this out. You are greeted by this green, awesome looking packaging. This is just fantastic. And then here is more information about the figure. This is MMS 695, 1/6 scale collectible figure, Kang. It doesn't say Kang the Conqueror. And I think it's up for debate is if that really was Kang the Conqueror in this movie. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to say something. So if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to pause or come back. But I was disappointed how easily Kang was defeated by Ant-Man. Should have never happened. But it is what it is. Regardless, I like the portrayal of Kang in the movie, and I am sad it's going to end the way it's going to end. But c'est la vie, right? We have Doom coming in, and we'll see what RDJ can do here, right? But real quick, back to my story about this figure. Before I started collecting Hot Toys, I had told myself if they ever make a Kang, a Doctor Doom, or a Mysterio, I would buy those Hot Toys. And here we are now, this is like 5, 6 years ago I said that. I've got a Mysterio. I now have Kang. I have a third party Doom, but we're going to be getting another Doom, um, pretty soon, probably in the next 3, 4 years. Who knows, maybe longer the way Hot Toys releases go, maybe 5 years. But I'm going to have a proper Doom figure in my collection. And man, I'm excited. So let's get this guy out of packaging and take a look at everything he comes with. Okay, so here's what King looks like in packaging. It only comes with a handful of different hands, 6 total hands, a couple spare wrist joints, which is always nice. I'm not sure. Oh, this is the neck piece when you put the King, the Conqueror, the battle mask on. And then this super long flight rod. This may be the longest flight rod I've actually seen in a Hot Toys figure that I own. And then some of these power effects that King shoots out in the movie. And then beneath this is a massive stand. This stand is huge. I mean, this is going to take up a whole DTOF. It's ridiculously big. I don't know what they were thinking. It's cool looking, but it's just beyond ridiculous how big it is. But let's get this stuff all taken out and then take a closer look at everything we got. All right, and here's Kang and everything he comes with. Not as much as you might think, but this figure is stunning. It's the material, the costume, everything about it is really cool. And it comes, of course, with instructions. And I always advise you to read any type of instructions because it's important stuff from Hot Toys. It talks about don't try to attach the suit, blah, blah, blah. We know that. It shows you how to change out the head sculpts with the neck pieces. And then how to do the batteries, the eyes, and the lines on the face. I guess they're battle scars. Light up, apparently, in the battle form there. And then it shows you with the head portrait, it has separate rolling eyes, and there's a tool to move the eyes individually. But I'm going to use the King the Conqueror head. I would never have thought to use the actor's head in this case because this King looks so great with the blue face. And then this freaked me out. When I took him out, this was moving. I thought it broke, but it actually can extend. So you can do some minor posing. It moves to give you some more articulation range. And then the cape, man, the cape is nice. We'll look into that in detail. It's very nice. Reminds me of the Mysterio cape. Maybe even better quality because it's got a wire in it. And on the back, there's this blue effect piece, like what he uses when he's like flying. And there's 2 different spots you can plug his feet into to give 2 different looks, which is kind of cool. And then there's those power effect blasts. They go either way. They can go large end in or large end out. It doesn't matter. And it shows you the hands to use if you swap them around. And then the stand, we'll get into the stand. It's ridiculously huge. And this clamp is new. It's a new design by Hot Toys. And I'm wondering if they did that to maybe have less pressure on the suits, because people say that these clamps can actually mar the suits up. I've never had a personal issue with my Hot Toys, but people have said it does happen. And then there's the final look, which this is kind of how I will display him in my DTOF. So yeah, there's the instructions. And then as if that huge annoying warning battery thing wasn't enough on the front of the package, they also included here and they included on the batteries. So something bad had to have happened, which is unfortunate, but if we have this, why do we need it on the outside of the packaging? Or why can't this be in smaller print in the back? To have it plastered in the front really bothers me. But it's okay. That packaging, it'll be in my closet somewhere in a box, so I guess it's fine. But here's the figure. I'm going to change the head out in a minute. We'll look at that portrait for a second. It looks okay. It looks kind of cartoonish to me a little bit, honestly. But like I said, I'm going to be using the King Conqueror head anyway. But man, the colors look great on this. The greens, the purples look so good. The battle harness around his shoulders and neck look awesome. Very cool looking figure. There's that blue base, which actually has some sort of almost like particles in it, as you can see. I don't think it's a mistake at the factory, like there's air bubbles. I think it was done on purpose, like it's like glittering or something. But pretty cool. And then down here are the extra hands. These are the ones you would use for the effect pieces. When you use these, you would use it like this, or on the fists, you would go in like that. But looking at these hands, you know, typical Hot Toys, there's some nice paintwork there, metallic paint on the top of the hand. Looks really good. These fingers look really nice. These are the hands I'll probably be using in the pose I'm going to display him in. And then he comes with the extra wrist joints, which is always nice. I've never had one break, but they give you 2 extra. And then there is that awesome head sculpt. That thing looks fantastic. It's not even lit up, and it looks like it's lit up here in the camera. It looks great. The paint they use for the white looks phenomenal. And then here's those particle effect pieces. I thought about using them, but I just want more of a regal look for King than him in battle. Plus, they didn't give a head that's like screaming. I would have loved if they would have given a screaming head, a yelling head, and he could be using these particle blasts when he's like shooting at man or whoever, the Avengers, right? And then here is this ridiculously huge base. I can't understate or overstate how big this thing is. It's going to take up over half size of a shelf in a detolf. This rod does fit. I measured it. It just barely fits in a detolf, if you're wondering. This thing is huge. But I do like it. I think Iron Man figures come with these longer rods because it gives you a chance to get the figure lifted up higher off the ground, which is kind of cool. That is kind of neat. And then here is the new clamp I mentioned. Maybe other figures that come with it. This is the first time I've seen it. But obviously, you know, that goes to the rod here. But then to open it, you'd go like this. And for me, it doesn't feel as tight a fit as the other ones, but maybe it's just me thinking that. I don't know. And it seems like the padding might be a bit thicker on this. So I'm going to definitely be using this because he's going to be in a flight pose. So hopefully over time, we're not going to have an issue. And, you know, I'm making fun of the base, but it does look nice. But this is by far the biggest 1/6 scale base I own. This is crazy. Hot Toys, please don't do this again. Don't do this again because people have limited space as it is, and this just makes it worse. But let's look at the figure a little bit more, some detail here, because he looks really, really sharp. I have to adjust my camera real quick. Okay, so here's the human head portrait, and I think it looks good, but it still feels a little cartoonish to me. And I haven't messed with the eyes or anything, and I'm not going to mess with his head sculpt, honestly. This was never the look I wanted, but you can see him there. We'll put the King head on in a second, but just look at the detail of this this figure here. He looks so good. The material feels nice. It feels very high-end to me. You can see all the different patterns and designs in there. This purple has like a metallic in it too. So it looks really, really awesome. My figure does have some sort of creasing going on here. So that was right out of package. Hopefully it won't be a problem down the road. This side looks better. But yeah, man, look at this. All looks good. I haven't posed him yet, so this stuff is probably glued on. Over time, if you have the elbows posed, I'm not sure what might happen to some of this stuff here, especially like that spot right there. So just a word of warning, but man, he does look really good. The harness screams King. I love it. And then he has like this, this is not wired. It'd be cool if this would have been wired, but it does hang pretty good. It doesn't flare out. I'm worried over time that with humidity or whatever, this will start to curl. So I am concerned about that. It should have been wired for the price this figure was, but that's a kind of a minor thing. And then here are the legs. You got the purple going all throughout. As close to comic accurate as this is, the one thing they didn't do was the long purple thigh-high boots. I guess that would have been probably beyond ridiculous, but I would have been fine with it. I personally would have been fine with that if they would have done that. But this is still fine. They have purple in there. And then there's the boots. And then the treads right there. Looks like normal work boot treads. And then here's the cape. And this thing lays so nice. There's some thick wires on both sides. There's just 2 wires. There's nothing on the bottom. I wish there was a wire on the bottom. I do. But these are probably the thickest wires I've ever felt in a Hot Toys cape, personally. But yeah, look at this detail. And this material is like the material on front here. They've got it woven all throughout, and it's pleated. It sits really good. It's got some weight to it. And of course, with it being wired, you can get some wind blowing poses with it too. So, man, there's that collar. There's the back piece of the harness. This looks fantastic. So I'm going to show you guys here real quick the batteries. They don't come like normal. This is a new thing for me. I've never seen batteries come like this with Hot Toys. They're always like in part of the plastic packaging where the figure lies. So they've got these separate here. Yeah, I'm gonna pop these in. In fact, if I take the head sculpt off now, I'll show you guys what this looks like. So there's where you would do the eyes. It's hard to see in there, but if I get this light into it, you get that little tool, and this tool here, you get in here and you can move the eyes. Let me see if I can get one. It's tough on camera to do this kind of stuff. But yeah, that's how you move the eyes, and the eyes can roll separately. I'm not gonna mess with it, it's just too much. But just real quick again, here's that head sculpt. Yeah, the likeness is there, but it's just not, I'm not gonna use it. And then we need to pull this out. And then I believe this one goes over it this way. Oh, this has to come out first, I think. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the directions again and figure this out because that's not going to work either. But yeah, that's how this goes. And then you turn on. Where do you turn it on at? All right, we need to look at the directions. This is why I said directions are important. Okay, just so I show you guys, because this was a little difficult. This pops out of the neck, the flesh part of the neck, and then you put this over the flesh part and push it down, and there's a ball joint to pop it down in there. And then this comes out of the bottom of this head. It was a little confusing, but I figured it out. It just pops out, and that's where the batteries go, and then we'll turn it on and see what it looks like. The batteries go back in here with a little screwdriver you need to use. But man, look at that. That's fantastic. Wow, very cool. All right, let me get the batteries in. All right, and there's the batteries in and everything lit up. I gotta say, this turned out awesome. Let me turn this light off here. His eyes light up, the scars on his face light up, and even a spot in his helmet lights up too. Oh, on both sides. These sides light up too. That is awesome. Yeah, very cool. What a cool design. That is top notch. I mean, I wouldn't have even needed this thing to be lit up, but dang, does that look sweet or what? All right, let's turn this off before they die. All right, and here is Kang with the battle helmet, I guess you call it. The look you want to see Kang in. There's something about this character design that I've loved since I was a kid. My first Kang figure I got was the Secret Wars, Mattel Secret Wars figure. I remember I got him the same day I got Wolverine at Montgomery Ward. My dad took me to get a figure, and it got me two. And so for me, they were enemies. In fact, I have them right here. Here's my Kenner Secret War. Kenner or Mattel? I forget. Mattel, I think. Secret Wars Kang. And I mean, the resemblance is pretty close, besides the boots, you know. The battle harness is there. It looks really good. So let's kind of go over articulation. There are some limitations with this figure, but I'm of the mind that when it comes to villains, powerful villains like Kang, Doom, Thanos, you don't need to have really dynamic poses to make them look imposing. Simple little gestures with the head can do. But if we look at the head, there's like really no, that's as much as he can look up. And that's as much as he can look down. It's very limited because of this neck piece, but it's okay. I'm okay with it. There he's looking down there. The arms go up to here because this is tight. The way this costume's designed, that is very tight. So you can't get 90. But I'm not going to have him. I'm not going to need that anyway for my pose. There is a bicep swivel and double jointed elbows that go a little over 90, and then the ball hinge pegs wrist pegs they give you in every Hot Toy figure. As far as articulation in the chest, As you can see, this battle harness does move a bit, but you don't have much range at all. Really nothing. He's going to be an upright standing figure. He can bend a little bit. He can twist just a little bit. So you're not going to have a lot of... I don't know how I feel about this harness that can move the way it does. It's all over the place. But I guess it gives you some maneuverability, I guess. The legs are not on ratchets. At least if they are, I didn't hear them click. Go almost 90, and then back not very far. The double jointed knees are on ratchets. I could feel them. And then a ball hinge boot, which with some rocker. Yeah, you gotta be careful with this suit though when you bend the knees back. Boy, I can see this material being trouble if you try and do dynamic poses. Oh, I just popped his foot off. The feet came off when I was pulling off the plastic paper as well. But yeah, so very limited in mobility. But again, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to do a lot of crazy poses with this guy. That's just not what I want from my Kang figure. If you want some crazy poses, this is definitely not the figure to get that with. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and get this guy into a few poses. Okay, this is, basic museum pose, but still, pretty cool looking. He's looking up. He has his hands out. I think that looks fantastic. That's a cool looking figure. Man, that's going to go awesome on the shelf. Something like this, maybe up in a flight pose. But yeah, that looks really cool. All right, here's Kang with these effect pieces, and they're not as cool as I thought they were going to be personally. Looking at these connected, but that's one way to do it with a fist. You can go backwards like that, and then with the open palm, you can go the opposite way, have the big end like that. But because of lack of mobility with the arms, not being able to move too much, you could do more with it, but I'm just showing you guys what they look like. Yeah, not the biggest fan of this, honestly, those effect pieces. I mean, they're cool looking, but I'm not going to use them. All right, here's Kang just chilling with a fist, an iron fist, the Conqueror. He's got his other hand behind his back. Yeah, that's a pretty cool look. Let me see if I can get this guy in here closer. Yeah, that looks really good. Too bad you can't keep his eyes lit up all the time, like with a USB or something. That would look phenomenal. Yeah, but still, man, it's a really cool looking figure. Nice engineering, or nice detail by Hot Toys, I should say. Looks really good. Okay, then this is how it's pretty much gonna look in my Detolf. I think he'll fit this high up, but man, how awesome is that? Look at him. That looks fantastic. And yeah, there's 2 holes in each foot. So you can have his feet closer together like I have here in the front. The holes are on the sides, or in the back heels where his feet were spread apart more. But yeah, this looks cool. I will say the engineering is a little messed up here on this. They didn't take into account how big this blue ring is, the diameter. So it hits this. And the way this holds up here, it feels like it's not as tight, so it might be better for the figure. But yeah, you have to almost maybe bend this wire out this low so he sits straight. It's really tight. It wasn't the best engineered design, but regardless, he looks really cool. So the nice thing, as big as this base is, you can put it in the corner of your Detolf, kind of like this, and then turn the figure to look out to give yourself room to put maybe a figure here, a figure in front. And because he's higher up, you can get a figure in front, maybe. I haven't tested it in my Detolf yet, but just, boy, it's a space hog, that is for sure. But man, look at how imposing that looks. Yeah, super cool. What a shame. Yeah, man, what a shame with how this all went down. But I think the figure, for someone who loves Kang the Conqueror, has loved Kang since he was a little kid, this guy right here, it's just, this is a cool moment here to be able to have this figure in my collection. So let's go ahead and do a couple comparisons here. Okay, here we go. This is what, man, this makes me so happy. I've got a Doctor Doom, which is a third party, but still no one else has made one. So hats off to, was it S Hero? I love my Doom figure. He's great. And then my Mysterio, who that was my favorite Hot Toys figure for a while, just because I love Mysterio so much. And then there's Kang. Man, all three of these together look fantastic. And I just did a measurement. If you have a DTOF cabinet, you need 15 inches of clearance, 15 and a quarter. And my Mysterio like this fits in no problem. But I just measured this guy, and he's about a little over an inch too high. So I've got to lower this an inch down in order for him to fit in the DTOF. So just know that. You can't have him this high if you want to have him inside a DTOF cabinet, a standard IKEA DTOF. But yeah, it's too bad the Mysterio cape isn't wired up here. It's wired, yeah, it's wired down below, but no wires in the side. But that Kang cape is nicer than the Mysterio cape. The material on that Kang cape is amazing. Very cool. Yeah, look at, boy, my Doom collection's growing. I'm excited. Excited for what awaits in the MCU, despite Kang being removed as of right now. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Okay, so is this Kang figure worth it? Well, I'll say this: it's sold out in Big Bad Toy Store, and it's a wait list on Sideshow. And when it came out, mine says I paid $285 for it. It's up to $290 now. I'm not sure why they added $5 more, but I also had some discount points which I used, so I was able to get them cheaper. So I'm happy about that. For me, this figure is absolutely worth it. Kang is one of my favorite Marvel villains, behind like Doom, Galactus, that type of thing. But he's right up there. And to finally have a 1/6 scale Hot Toys Kang in my collection, I'm excited about it for the character. And these light up eyes, which I have lit up right now, that does look fantastic. Probably one of my favorite light up features of any figure ever. They look really good. So yeah, for me, it was worth it. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Again, you might have some strong opinions on this, and that's fine. Just be respectful in the comments. Give me a like if you want. Subscribe. Let's talk about what you guys think is going to happen with Kang. Is he going to come back somehow? It looks like they're not going to recast him. I would have been fine with that, but I'm also fine with this guy taking over. My favorite Marvel villain, Doctor Doom. And so hopefully there's some closure that makes sense. And maybe we finish up the multiverse thing, because it's getting a little out of hand, I think, with the multiverse stuff. But regardless, I think this Hot Toys figure is a winner. I think the stand is absolutely way too big. They went crazy. Someone got crazy with the stand. And it's going to take up a lot of space on your shelf. But this guy does look imposing with just a simple pose, like this, floating a couple inches off of your stand. So yeah, let me guys know what you think again. And until next time, this has been Hot Toys Kang. Thanks for watching.